電車は時間通りです。通常10秒以上の遅れはありません。しかし、今日は電車が遅れました。今日、誰かの人生が終わりました。
Where am I? Are we alone? What is God? What is the purpose of life? Is there a higher being? Why am I alive? I am hurting.
This is Japan. Though known as the land of the rising sun for over a millennium, Japan holds a profound spiritual darkness unlike many parts of the world. Though countless individuals are surrounded by an endless sea of people, so many are alone, suffering, depressed, crying out to their ancestors, realizing the full meaning of atheism. There is no God, and if there is no God, there is no hope. As humans, we act on our thoughts, and that's exactly what's happening. If life is an endless cycle of nothingness, then there's no point of living as if there's a future. There's not much of a point living at all. Thoughts like these materialize into burnout, depression, and suicide.
Many do watch the speeding trains go by and wonder what it would be like to step in front of it. Yet for some, wondering isn't where it stops. In the year 2023 alone, over 21,818 people committed suicide. That is almost 60 people every single day. 60 people who maybe could have had a glimpse of hope should someone have not only been able to stop their self-harming thoughts, but lift their eyes to a purpose to live, a future, and the Savior.
A rich cultural history cannot bring answers. Atheism cannot bring hope. And the whispers of this world cannot bring truth. But we have been given a light that can dispel all darkness. We have a hope, and we have an answer.
Being the largest city in the world, Tokyo is a vast metropolis. But within the city of almost 40 million people, there are only some 10 Adventist churches and only about 2,300 members, many of which cannot attend due to age. Now let's put this into perspective for the whole country. In Japan, there are some 15,000 SDA members on the books, but the union leaders say that there are only about some 3,000 to 4,000 attending regularly. In a country of 130 million people, that's not a lot. Going back to Tokyo, this means that every Adventist would have to reach over 16,771 people. That's just the city of Tokyo alone. GLOW, giving light to our world, scheduled a mission trip to Japan, and I saw this as the perfect opportunity to join them in fulfilling the Great Commission. Our goal? Meeting felt needs while distributing over 1 million GLOW tracts in the world's largest city.
These glow tracks are specifically designed for the Japanese people. They deal with stuff like hope and depression. So then we kind of had the problem, how do we get them out, right? Because the Japanese people are kind of more of a shy society. So the traditional methods of handing out glow tracks like you would in Latin America or Europe would not really work. For example, the traditional method of just handing out a glow track to a random person on the street doesn't really work in Japan. So then we have this problem. We have the world's largest city, but they won't take our tracts out of our hands. But after a bit of researching, we found out that every Japanese house or door has a little mailbox slot. So we went door to door and started handing them out in the mailbox slots. Now that is awesome, but it does take a lot of time, and we have 1 million glow tracks that we have to hand out. So we began to do apartment buildings. Now these are amazing because once you can gain access inside, you can start distributing them by the hundreds. And I must say, even though it was a challenge to sometimes find these rooms or gain access to these apartment buildings, it was amazing to see God work and how He always provided every single time. Well, it was the second to last day of the mission trip, and my partner and I were looking around this one building to try to find the mailboxes. For some reason, this one was super difficult and we couldn't really find the room where the mailboxes were. As I was walking, I noticed that my partner wasn't with me anymore. I turned around and saw that she was helping this old lady come out of a taxi. So I quickly walked over to them and tried talking to the older lady a little bit. She didn't know any English, but I could understand a little bit from what she was saying. We slowly started to move in the direction that the elderly lady was going. We assumed it was her apartment, and sure enough, she began walking to this one entrance of an apartment building. Once she finally let us inside, she kind of stopped and we handed her some of these glow tracts. She took them and bowed again, and then she started saying a heartfelt thank you several times. I could see that there were tears in her eyes. She said it over and over again, arigato. And finally, we said bye, and she continued walking into her apartment. My partner and I were absolutely amazed at what had just happened, but that's not where it ends. So I turned to the left and noticed that there were the mailboxes we had been looking for this whole time. So by helping her, we had not only gained an experience, but we had also been led to the mailboxes.